everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us, he's a director, and he has a new movie that just got picked up for distribution, and it's called The Elder Hunters. Woo! And I have with us today director David Rodriguez. David, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hey there, how you doing, Travis? How's everybody going?
It's a pleasure, man. I'm glad you were able to come on tonight.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's my
real
pleasure.
quick, tell us a little bit of. Thank you, man. So real quick, just tell us a little bit about the Elder Hunters.
Oh yeah, so I got hired by this producer to do this film, and um, yeah, it's a crazy film. It has to do with what's going on in New York at the moment. So a couple of kids they attack this old man, and he ends up getting revenge in some brutal ways.
Nice. So, when the producer came to you with the idea of this movie, what did you think?
At first I read it and I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy, and since it's an older demographic, I was like, all right, let's do this. It seems like it's gonna be fun. I reached out to my friend Mike Ferguson, and he agreed to do it, and we came and we just had a blast for 3 days.
I love Mike Ferguson. I've had him on numerous times. We're good friends. So anything that he's in, man, he's always fun.
Oh yeah, that guy gives 110% every like 5 minutes. I love
Yes,
him.
and he's an intimidating guy. He's a intimidating looking and sounding guy, but he's one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
Like it's so crazy, but yeah, he's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. So how long production wise did it take you?
It was about an 8 day shoot over. The production was like we stopped for a while, and then the producer came back with the rest of the budget, and we knocked it out. But yeah, it
Now
was it
is
was
it
a fun shoot.
Now, is it hard as a director? Because a lot of directors are also the writers. Was it hard to direct someone else's script?
It was, but once I got the hang of it, and I realized it's a genre film, it was right up my alley. So we really went for it, and we get some. There's a lot of bloody scenes in it.
Love it, love it.
So
Yes,
yeah, it's I kind of amped it up, but it is hard to direct somebody else's writing sometimes.
because I can imagine because you have to almost have to feel like you have to get into their brain a little bit.
Yeah, that's a bit of the reason there was a delay in production. At first, like he wanted to see some edited scenes, and I'm like, we're in the middle of production, man. So like we bumped heads a little bit, and then when I sent him a cut, he was just like totally into it. He's like, I didn't know this is what you were doing. Like, I'm sorry, let's knock it out.
That's always good. That's always good. Now,
Oh yeah.
because it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's you know I'm 41 now, right? So I'm approaching middle age. So some people might say I'm already at middle age, but like the older you get, like you look at the younger generation, and you're like, oh, they're a bunch of fucking assholes. Like, what are they fucking doing? And
Right.
to be able to see some elderly take brutal revenge on some younger kids, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're lacking discipline. Sometimes, if they go to extremes, sometimes you have to also, or at least in this movie.
Yes. All right. So now or I'm sure you're a horror fan. It looks like you have a "Drag Me to Hell" poster in the background.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what I
Drag
see?
Me to Hell. Um, The Beast Within, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I
Yeah.
originally started in the business as a special effects artist, and the transformation sequence in that movie, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Now, so going from a special effects um, to actually directing, was that a challenge or was that an easy transition for you?
Um, it was an easy transition because, like, while you're on set, I kind of also treated it like film school. So I'm like watching everybody work, and I'm like, all right, that's how you do that. Oh, I'm like learning what kind of lenses used for what reasons, and eventually you just pick up the language of film, and it's a beautiful language to know.
Now, are there any? And I know you say you're a huge fan of Sam Raimi. Are there any other I'll say indie horror or even horror movie filmmakers that inspired you? That you use a lot of their work or visions in yours?
Hmm. I'm a big fan of David Cronenberg, John Carpenter, of course. He was a big influence on Elder Hunters. I really kind of went for that, like, 80s Carpenter vibe with it, where it's just like, gritty and, kind of like Assault on Precinct 13, just
Hmm.
really like dark and just like, right in there in the cut, like running gun type stuff. I am a big fan of Robert Rodriguez, like reading his book completely changed my life. And, it gave me that kick in the butt to, be like, yeah, you could definitely do this. Like that man went through some craziness for, El Mariachi.
Yes. Now, right now, when it comes to indie horror filmmaking, I ask this question a lot. It's a lot easier to make horror movies now. It's a lot easier to make movies now. With iPhones and the cameras are a lot more affordable. Now, to get a movie to that point, but a lot of filmmakers are having that issue to getting their film to distribution. Tell us about a little bit about that process. What are some challenges that you ran into?
I think the most challenging part are, just making sure the deliverables are right, you know, just paying for those last minute things that they ask for. But as far as, I wanted to go self distribution, but the producer found a distributor that was like really excited about the project and he picked it up for, I believe 2 or 3 year run right now.
Oh, nice.
DVD distribution, streaming. So like there's gonna be some exciting news coming up with that. But as far as like getting it to that point, I think the real hell in all of it is actually just getting the film to its finish point,
Mhm.
It's a lot.
Now, this movie has an interesting, like I said, it's a unique and interesting concept. As a horror filmmaker, it's kind of hard because a little bit, pretty much everything has been done in some way or shape. How hard is it to stay fresh? How hard is it to come up with original ideas? How hard is it to not go with the norm and the cookie cutter route of let me go ahead and do what's already been done and proven success?
I think, I mean it's really hard to say fresh, but like I believe like just being a fanboy keeps you open. Like as long as you're open to other types of media, it keeps your brain working. Like, you read great books. Like I just read The Will of the Many. It's an amazing book. It takes place in Roman times, but it's like brutal. It's really brutal. Let me see. I watch a lot of anime, a lot of horror movies, action. I'm just like open to all types of genres. A lot of foreign films. So, there's a lot to pull from if you're really open and, you can stay really fresh, what everyone else is doing and you know where to push the envelope at.
Now, are you excited about where the horror genre is going right now?
I am, but I feel like they're really just watering it down, It's like people aren't having as much fun with the genre anymore. I get like the message has always been, really powerful in all horror films, but right now it's taking so much center stage that you're not really getting characters to really like latch on to, for long periods of time. So as far as visually, I love where they're going, but narratively, we could be going darker. Yeah, it's a horror
But
genre.
also, exactly. But I also agree with you too. Like character development is something that is missing in probably 75% of horror movies. Indie, big picture, like caring about the characters, giving the characters, making them whatever, however you care about it, whether you hate them, like them, you got to feel something. Horror is supposed to be an emotion, it's fear, it's supposed to be an emotional thing. So, like, you got to feel some kind of emotion for the characters. You can't just have bodies in a way for the killer. And I just feel like that's something that's missing in horror movies right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you want to go through a journey with somebody, whether it's a horror movie or anything. Just character development is missing a lot. Like I was watching Black Adam the other day with my son, and he's like 5 minutes into this, he's like, I don't know what's going on. 10 minutes in, he's like, I don't care about none of these characters. I'm gonna go play a video game, and I'm like, I get it,
Yeah.
man. It's good to have one of those around. It stays fresh. It's like you know, they need character development, and they're not doing that.
It's completely missing. The last movie I watched, and I'm not gonna say, I know people are saying I'm bashing it, but I actually watched. I wasn't a fan of the original Honey, not Honey, Blood and Honey, the Winnie the Pooh movie. So, but people kept telling me that the second one was so much better and this and that, and I watched it. And yes, listen, the gore is there and all that good stuff, but you don't get to know nothing about these fucking characters. Like the characters are just, you could just put anything, you could put an X there, and like I'm like, but who are these characters? I don't know nothing about them. How old are they? What did they do? What college did they go to? What did they study? I need to know something about them.
Yeah, it's weird. I think people miss the point of what was the last Jordan Peele movie? Up?
Nope.
Nope. There we
Nope.
go. Nope. That's terrible of me. But yeah, nope. Everyone's so focused on the spectacle, so much spectacle that they miss out on, just really being in that moment with the character.
Yes. I 100% agree. Now, being a special effects guy, before you started being a director, how do you? It's so many filmmakers are now horror filmmakers now are going where they're steering away from practical effect and they're going to CGI. What are your feelings about that?
Um, you know, I would say I don't like the fact that people are leaning heavier towards CGI, but there's most definitely a place for it. You got to grow with the technology or it's going to overtake you. So, I still rely heavy on practical effects, but, like in this new film I'm working on, the guy kicks a record through the guy's, face, and afterwards I'm adding the CG tongue moving. You can
Mhm.
add these little elements that'll elevate the practical effect, just to the next level.
So let's shoot over to your next project. I mean, you got a lot going on. You have another movie out that's coming out that's in post production. It's called Psycho Night. Tell us a little bit about Psycho Night.
Oh man. So I had started working on a different movie, and the script kind of transformed as I was, talking to my actors. And Psycho Night, pretty much, it's about this dark web game show where they take aspiring rappers and they throw them in this, crazy situation where psychos are trying to kill them while they're trying to acquire a record deal. As insane as that sounds.
Now, what's the gore level on this one gonna be?
Um, See, this one I had no reins on me, so I mean, it's really a lot of gore. There's a lot of bad things that happen to people's heads in particular.
I love it. So, all right. So, listen, you got some inspiring rappers in it. Are, did you reach out to any rappers or local rappers to try to get some rap music, some on the soundtrack or in the background?
Yeah, actually, I reached out to a couple of producers. I'm working with Marvin Maddox Jr. on this, and all of the actors are actually aspiring rappers, believe it or not.
Oh,
So
nice.
in the movie, I'm actually using their rap names, and we're actually putting them in the situation. So it's kind of like a cross promotion thing in the middle of a horror movie that's like extremely gory.
That's fucking interesting. Now, nudity. Do you like putting nudities in your horror movies or no?
I'm not close to it, but as far as a necessity, no. If the moment calls for it, then definitely like let's do it. Let's have some fun with it. But as far as this, like it being a checklist because to please some fanboy, I won't do that. Now,
Because
if
I've
if
noticed
it's in the
less.
script, then you know what? I mean, I'm not opposed to any of it at all.
Because I grew up in the '80s and it seemed like every horror movie had some tits in it. Like it was definitely tits and ass. And it seems like horror movies are going less far and far away from the tits and ass aspect of horror.
hmm I mean, it's weird, like because I've been reading like test audiences don't like it, and it's like test audiences, they've always been like bullshit. Like who cares
Hmm.
about them? Like if the story calls for it, then definitely do it. We
Yeah,
can't be a prude about it. It's like like once you start putting caps and rules on things, you're not having any more fun.
because horror is not supposed to have any rules. Like that's the one genre anything fucking goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, so David, I'm going to shoot to a little fun part of the interview. I'm going to ask you three random horror questions. Are you ready?
All right.
All right. Who is one horror movie character, villain, that you feel like you relate to?
Wow. Everyone always gives me shit, but my number one is Michael Myers.
Everybody says Michael Myers, including myself. Okay, but let me hear why Michael Myers.
I guess I kind of, as weird as it's gonna sound, like being in this industry, I kind of just like identify with that, just like relentless, just like keep going no matter what. Even like just stay stone faced and just get through it, and like get your victim and keep going through.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, Michael Myers. Listen, I'm not killing anybody, but I don't know. Just Michael Myers just has. I'm kind of an introvert, believe it or not, even though I have a YouTube channel. But I'm a person who likes to stand to myself in my personal life, and I'm very reserved, when I'm around new people. But and I think I relate to that with Michael Myers, and I do like that Michael Myers just doesn't give a fuck. Like he doesn't. I respect him. He's like I'm a perfectionist, and he's a perfectionist. Like he does not. He doesn't care if it's children, women, old people. Don't what anybody who's in his way. He's there to kill. He's gonna fucking kill.
Yeah, I'm not condoning killing anybody, but that's definitely
No.
the kind of attitude you need, like, to get through these
Yes.
films sometimes. It's like, I don't care, man. I'm not going to stop. Once we call
Yes.
cut, the victim's done. I can go home.
Ah, all right. Here is okay. I'm gonna ask you. Um, I'm gonna ask you a controversial question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Why do you think Candyman is so obsessed with white women? Why do you think Candyman is so obsessed with white women?
Is he obsessed with white women?
I think he is. I mean, if you're basing off the first three movies, he is running after blonde hair, blue eyed white women in every movie.
I mean, you want my funny take on it? I don't think he's obsessed. I think he's like frustrated by them. He was into
You frustrated
one,
by them?
they
Mm-hmm.
they fucked this shit up over it. And now you got this white bitch just popping around in the projects causing shit. It's like, yeah, you know what? That would be my victim too. I got something personal here. I'm no longer obsessed. I'm pissed off.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. And the final question I'm gonna ask you is, shit. Let me think of a good one. Let me think of a good one. So I
No
do use on
problem.
top of my head. I think it's on top of my head. All right. What? Okay. Listen. what would you, if you had to reboot right now, if you had to, some Blumhouse or someone big came up to you and said, listen, we need for you to put a fresh spin on a Friday the 13th series, the Friday the 13th series, what would your fresh spin and take of it look like?
Hmm. Friday the 13th. Hmm. You see, it's kind of weird. I was a fan of the remake, the 2009 remake. I kind
Me
of
too.
enjoyed where they went with that. I just still think they were trying to play to the current audience and not, the fan base. I think I would go fresh by staying kind of classic, but like upping the gore and kind of giving people more of a character to hold on to. Now, I'm not saying I would Rob Zombie this thing. I don't give a fuck what his child life was like. I'm just saying, I want somebody like I want something to hold on to with him. He's kind of just like a storm in that when he comes, he goes. But like I want more of a reason for him to be there. And definitely up the
Yeah,
violence.
because I agree with you. The reboot is probably my favorite out of all the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh yeah.
And I know people give me shit for that or look at me weird, but
Fuck
I like it because it gave a human element to Jason Voorhees that we never saw. And
exactly.
this Jason was just vicious, and he was running. He was more realistic, I should say. He was a realistic killer, and it gave a lot more backstory to why he is why he's pretty much protecting his land. It has nothing to do with it has something to do with his mom, but he sees you as trespassing. So and like any of us, if somebody's trespassing on our land, listen, anything might fucking happen. But I definitely like that. I like that story better than a zombie murderer who just happens to be at a camp and they keep reopening the same camp every fucking year, even though people fucking die. That's
Exactly.
kind of played out. It's kind of played out. But then again, when it comes to Halloween, I don't know why anybody lives in fucking Haddonfield at this point. Like, I don't know why anybody would buy a Michael Myers house. I don't know why anybody would be neighbors of Michael Myers house, or I don't get it. As soon as that happened 2 years in a row, I would be the fuck out.
When was the last time you were in Jersey?
Last time I was in Jersey was I feel like a couple months ago. It was like 4 or 5 months ago. I'm in Baltimore, so I'm not that far. So like I've definitely been in Jersey a couple months ago.
Now I'm just being an asshole. I'm just being like, yeah, like if you know Jersey, yeah. I mean, even I take the fucking house after a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, listen, Michael Myers' house is a fucking beautiful house. I mean, you saw what the gay couple did in Halloween Kills. They remodeled. It's looked beautiful. If you go to like my Curse of Michael Myers, it's a beautiful house, and I'm pretty sure you're getting that house at a good rate. But you don't open up the newspapers and see like every fucking Halloween somebody gets murdered in this fucking house. Like that's the house that I would stay away from personally.
Well, I mean, I get it in Kills. Like the guy was away for like 20 years, but
Yeah,
people give me shit about that one. I love that movie. Oh man.
I loved everything about that movie except for that fucking. There was a big chunk in that movie. It was like 30 minutes in the movie surrounded around the hospital and the mental patient. I felt like that was filler, and if you cut that half an hour out, it is an enjoyable Halloween movie. But that big chunk, because I saw it in the theaters. I saw that movie in the theaters, and I fucking loved it. And I came home because it was on Peacock. I was like, let me rewatch this. And I could not sit through that 30 minutes of the mental patient and them running after him in the hospital. It was just too long, and it just didn't add to the story at all.
I mean, I got a dark sense of humor, so it was just hilarious. So like every once in a
Yeah.
while, like I'll walk in a room and I'll be like, "Evil dies today."
I mean, and every character in that movie was making horrible fucking decisions. I've never seen a horror movie where so many characters were making horrible fucking decisions, one after the other.
I think that's why I loved it so much. I was just like, oh, this is like it's a great train wreck.
Now,
it's violent
Halloween,
and bloody train wreck.
Halloween Ends was just fucking awful. I can't even talk about that. There was no good points for me in Halloween Ends. I just did not enjoy that movie. I did not know where we were going. I didn't understand it.
How that guy still has his pinky is beyond me.
I agree. I agree. David, where can everyone find it? I know. Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, okay, you gonna wait till the last movie in the trilogy and pull this fucking bullshit?
Yeah. I would have taken his pinky and been like, you know what, for all that, we're gonna let Nia DaCosta direct the Exorcist trilogy.
And he fucked up the Exorcist movie too. Well, I mean, I'm not even get started on that because I can go on a rant about some bad fucking remakes, man. Some bad fucking remakes. There's been some good ones. There's been some good ones, but there's been a bad. Like, I love Hitcher, the original Hitcher. I fucking love it. And what they did with that remake is probably the worst remake I've seen. It just fucking bothers me. It just bothers me. It's kind of sad that there's a whole generation of horror fans out there who think that one from the 2000s is the only fucking Hitcher. Like, that fucking bothers me because there's a better movie that was made in the fucking 80s that's so much fucking better. It really is.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna tell my kids that Joyride was Hitcher, the remake.
Yes. Joyride was the Hitcher remake for all the kids out there and all the people in their 20s. Yes, everybody in your 20s, Joyride was the remake to the original Hitcher. David, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Oh, you can find me at Facebook, Instagram, Dave the Effects Guy. I'm also at Retro Millennial Studios. You know, we got some great stuff coming out for everybody this year.
Awesome. But David, listen, I can't wait to have you back on, man. This was fun. And that was a great answer to the Candyman question. I thought I was have you stumped on that one.
Oh, man. Thank you, man. It was great being on.
You too, brother. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's David Rodriguez. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Later.